tinfoil hat. Oh, what the fuck are you guys even talking about?
Global controls will have to be imposed, and a world governing body will be created to enforce them.
Welcome to Tinfoil Hat. We go deep, homeboy. Aaron, open your mind. Drink from the fountain of knowledge. There's lizard people everywhere. That's some interdimensional shit. Wake up, Aaron.
This is only the beginning.
Dude, you just blew my mind.
Are you ready to get your mind blown?
So you do look different than your picture. I expected a buttoned down, buttoned up, nice guy, ready to with slides and a presentation.
It's like he's radicalized by Islam.
You look radicalized. Like
I've been in the trenches here for a bit.
Yeah, I can tell, bro. It's. By the way, if you ever want to get away with murder, just grow out your beard and throw on a hat, and no one will ever know it was you.
I would get one of those little hats if I were.
Oh damn! Shots fired! Shots fired! Yeah, man. Glad we can make this happen. You're definitely one of the most requested guys in the show. I'm very excited about that, and yeah, I mean, like, it's interesting times, dude. We're living in some really interesting times. Like this Trump stuff, it's great news followed by just a world of shit at the same time. It's like there's things that you love, and then followed by things that drive you crazy. Like, it's like, hey, we're going to release, all these prisoners. We're going to release Ross. We're going to stop arms deals to the Ukraine. It's great. Oh, yeah, by the way, we're also working on airborne vaccines. Okay, I didn't sign up for that. I don't want anything to do with that. How do you deal? Are you just all out on all these guys? Because I'm politically nihilist. I'm not on any side, but I do want to root for the president to succeed because he is the figurehead of this stuff. How do you do it?
I mean, I was the biggest Trump cheerleader of all for a long time. They called me the king of QAnon, and now I don't believe in it anymore. I think that it's real, but they have betrayed us. I think that Trump is Vax Daddy, king of the Jews, and he is fulfilling his purpose to kill the West and unite the world under the Jewish control and slavery. The Jew world order is here, and he's clearly, if not helping it and running it as its king, he's clearly Israel first, not America first. I mean, we do see some things that he gives us as tokens. Maybe he'll release the J6ers and then probably conscript them into a war to go in some sort of, brother war with other Christian nations like Russia, for example, to get rid of all whites. That's the Zelensky method. That's what they're doing in Ukraine. They're pulling people off the streets, throwing them in war, chaining them in trenches. It's really crazy over there what they're doing, and that's what they're planning to do to the West. All of these countries in the West are passing laws or talking about conscription or drafts or whatever local word it is for their, draft.
It's interesting, dude. It's interesting. Every time I hear something about Trump, I can't enjoy it because I want to enjoy it, but then I hear the words of Whitney Webb, and I just, it's just like, okay. Danger, Will Robinson, danger. You can't trust these guys. So now we got this new AI guy who, what's the name of the AI company, Johnny?
OpenAI. You're talking about Sam
OpenAI.
Altman. Sam Altman and Larry Ellison were up there doing the Stargate initiative, right?
Sam Altman. What I believe is happening is they know the Bill Gates brand is dead.
His name is in it, by the way, Stargate. So
yeah, Bill Gates is dead, and they brought in this new guy, and this new guy already has so much shady shit that he can be easily controlled. Like, a whistleblower dead, his sister making some crazy accusations. Unfortunately, in this day and age of the Me Too, we kind of have to pause on whether we believe it right out the gate. But we kind of have to pause on that. But here we are. We got two things in this guy is now, stepping up. And talk about failing up. You get accused of murdering an AI, a whistleblower, and your sisters come out that you did shady shit. And now you're leading Stargate. It's like crazy to me.
That's how it works in this world. You get moved up through sin and through commitment to darkness. It's all secret society. It's all evil. Pretty much every officer in the military and police up are secret society, if not Jewish themselves. And, there are documentaries out there about this kind of stuff. They're absolutely in control. That's why they're all using the same symbols. If we really get into it, there is no... it's us versus everyone. I mean, it's us versus the world government. It's us versus the governments, the fake science, the fake history, the fake theology, all of that. And they're all in on it together, serving the world god, as the Bible says, which is Satan. Satan is the god of this world. They have chosen him. And that's where their allegiance is to. That's where their symbols are for. That's what their blood comes from. They're the Nephilim. I mean, we can get into that if you want. But
I can't wait, bro. I can't wait.
Yeah,
and it's definitely seems like, that more and more of this is coming out. That more and more people are starting to realize that there is a concerted effort to go. My whole theory is this, and I would love to hear your thoughts on it. And I'm okay if you come here and just curb stomp me on it, but I think there's levels to this shit. When I hear the Talmud, and it's called the Babylonian oral history of the rabbi, when I see the word Babylonian, when we realize the Balfour Doctrine, it's like Britain's like, we're giving you this land, and, and it's like, the Bank of England or the Rothschilds take it. I personally believe that Britain, that Israel and Saudi Arabia are both basically puppets of the Bank of England, the empire, and then above that, the black nobility, who are old gods that go way past the Abrahamic religions. Your thoughts on that?
So, first of all, there's only one Abrahamic religion, in my opinion. I mean, you have Islam, you have Christianity, you have Catholicism, you have Judaism. They're all Abrahamic. Satanism is Abrahamic. But just because they believe in Abraham does not mean they're on the same side or keep the same faith as Abraham. Only Christianity does that. Now, in terms of the old gods, the Nephilim, the Anunnaki, whatever you want to call these things, they're not human. It's all over the History Channel. They'll tell you they came from aliens, but the genetics, the science, the megalithic structures, all the evidence is there. There is a non-human strain that has been ruling us, living amongst us, being our priestly class, our king class, eating babies, child sacrifice, throwing them to the fire, all of that. The word cannibal comes from the Canaanite priests of Baal eating the babies that they sacrificed on fire. And now Candace Owens is using the word Canaanite clumsily because she has no idea what she's talking about, but she's getting there, bless her, if they let her. So there's a bunch of this coming to the forefront now. People are struggling with these issues, but it all goes back to the Bible. They're not the old gods in the sense of every other religion on earth, which is what they would call them. In Christian sense, they're the Nephilim. Modern terminology might be Anunnaki from the Sumerian, language, but the Nephilim are half demon or part demon, non-human mutants. They're mixed species. Something. They're the fallen angels mated with human women in Genesis 6, and that created the Nephilim. And then they got smaller and more diluted since then. That's why they're not giants like Goliath anymore with 6 fingers and 6 toes. I mean, that was literal. He was a literal giant with literally 6 fingers and 6 toes, as were his brothers. It was a genetic thing. That's why God kept saying things like, leave nothing alive, of entire tribes of man, woman, children, animals, everything. Not because God is a bully. I mean, he gave us his only begotten son to die for our sins, but because they are indeed monsters. This is a quarter of the Bible. It's all of the ancient alien show. They just substitute angels for aliens, and they want you to believe in that. Founded and ran by Satanists, by the way, but they'll tell you much of the same evidence that I'll use to prove this stuff. It's real. We have the science. We do debates with PhD scientists, etc. So it really comes down to a matter of, will people look at the evidence? And the fact is, monsters are real. They are running the world. It was all in prophecy, and it's about to play out as the book of Revelation and others said.
Book of Revelation gets fucking nuts. I'm very excited to have this guest in. Dustin Nemos, he's a Christian historian, a reporter, censored end times edgelord sage, man. I'm very excited to have him on. Where can they find you?
So DustinNemos.com has my websites. You can find my songs on Spotify and such. You can find me on different video platforms if they do not censor heavily, and that's rare now. So BitChute, basically, maybe Rumble sometimes.
Yeah, BitChute is where the bangers bang, dude. You want to go in that comment section? It gets battle royal very quickly. Hey guys, real quick, I want to tell you about our friends at Wise Wolf Gold and Silver. That's right, join the Wolf Pack now. Trust me, because if you're paying attention, you know the de-dollarization is real. Fiat is fake, and you don't want to be left holding the bag when the dollar collapses. Gold and silver have been money through all of recorded history and are an excellent way to protect yourself from inflation and geopolitical turmoil. That's why I trust my friends at Wise Wolf Gold and Silver for all precious metals, all things precious metals. I love it. I am part of the Wolf Pack. Every month I have precious metals sent right to my house, and I love it. See, Wise Wolf Gold and Silver is veteran owned and A+ rating by the Better Business Bureau. No transaction is too big or too small. You can even roll over your 401k or IRA into physical gold and silver. And if you think you can't afford precious metals, think again. With the Wolfpack monthly membership program, you can get gold and silver delivered directly to your door for as little as $50 a month. As little as $50 a month, you can have precious metals. You start loading it up, man. By the end of the year, you'll have a good chunk of precious metals. Dude, it's crazy. You just go to samtripoli.gold. You can see all the different plans they have. Man, it's like $50. Lone Wolf, Warrior Wolf, $125. Alpha Wolf is $250. And it just keeps going up. Sent to your house. Right there. It's that simple. It's that simple. Easy peasy. Get in, get out, get your gold, get your silver. I love it. I'm doing it. Dude, I'm telling you, all of these affiliates I use, and I use Wise Wolf Gold and Silver. I use it all the time. It's real simple. So if you want to get in, this is how you do it. Wise Wolf Gold and Silver also deals in and accepts Bitcoin. So here's what I need you to do, okay? Go to samtripoli.gold, promo code tinfoil at checkout to receive free constitutional silver. That's right. And remember, in a world of bulls and bears, be the wolf. I love this. I'm a huge into the fallen angels discussion. I know when you go back, and maybe this doesn't resonate with you, but it resonates with me when you get into like Hinduism and Vedic astrology. They too also talk about God trapping entities down here. So this story has been told over time, and
it's all the same. Every religion on earth tells the same story.
Yeah, I
different names.
Different names, different rules for different fools. But
for example, like just a lot of people are going to question that. Like they all have the story of Noah, the flood, Noah surviving a worldwide flood with his 3 sons on a boat and all animals. In some variation, they just call him different things. They call him like Utnapishtim in Sumerian, Noah in the Bible. There's different names. They called him marijuana in an actual Indian North American tribe. That's a name in the Flood Museum, the Ark Museum.
Where is that museum?
The big recreation of the Ark. It's in like Ohio or something. I've never gotten a chance to go there, but
where does your journey with Christianity start?
So I started very early as a child with the conspiracy stuff. 16, 17, I got the first computer. My grandparents were getting sick of cancer and, Monsanto and all that stuff. And I started to kind of figure out what was going on with Big Pharma first. And I went down that rabbit hole, started a huge organic garden, started my own greenhouse, tried to save my family. They didn't care. They didn't want to hear it. They just kept eating the poison, kept spraying the poison. But I knew at that point I knew too much. I couldn't stop. And I just kept digesting like 8 hours a day of knowledge for the rest of my life. Fast forward 20 years roughly. The last piece of the puzzle for me was the Bible after I had basically mastered every conspiracy, everything you can imagine in terms of history, theology, science, all of it. And then the Bible with the last piece, the theology. It was the last piece in the sense that I was trying to figure out why the deep state are so evil, why they do the child sacrifice, why all the occult symbolism, why Mystery Babylon, which is the secret society stuff. And when I figured that out, that they're actually worshiping the Nephilim from the Bible or the old gods of any other religion on earth, same thing, just different perspectives. They basically they took different perspectives of Genesis from the local demigod Nephilim. That's what these different religions are. And they were worshiping giants. We call them monsters, but same things. Anyway, when I realized that the Nephilim were real, still even today, but back then, yes, the bones, the archaeology, the megalithic structures we cannot reproduce, the stones we cannot move today, like the Baalbek stone, then I started to figure out that the Bible was telling us the truth all along of a literal non-human enemy strain, the seed war of Genesis 3:15, when God told the serpent that its offspring would be at war with the offspring of the woman, at enmity with the seed of the woman. So we have this seed of the serpent that is basically there throughout the Bible. It's what's responsible for killing Jesus, as he constantly rebuked them as of your father the devil, generation of vipers, where I go you cannot follow, seed of the serpent, tears amidst the wheat, etc. Basically, they killed him for calling them genetic demons in public who were pretending to be Israelites and infiltrating our government and religious institutions. John 8:33-44. You just go through that, and they're admitting they were never enslaved. The real Israelites were enslaved. Who does that leave? Edom, the bad guys at the end of the Bible. And if you look at the prophecies, everything Edom was supposed to do, the Jews are doing to us, including invading the West, like America, the land of unwalled villages, yeah, and oppressing us in every way, including all that long list of curses in Deuteronomy, like they would be the head, we would be the tail, they would lend to us, we would not lend to them, etc. All of those horrible things are happening as God promised, because in Judges 2, we were literally told we would have a monster deep state of Jews. And God told us that those tribes that Joshua failed to leave nothing alive, end quote, would become our deep state. He would no longer drive them out from among us and use them to test us if we would keep his law, his way. That's where we are today. Trump is the Antichrist, son of perdition. The Jews are trying to claim the Jew world order, the recreation of Nimrod's old world order, which was the post-flood recreation of the fallen angels' pre-flood world order. The age of Atlantis.
Your belief that the Rothschilds are descendants of Nimrod?
I think they are Amalek. They're the descendants of Edom, the main branch of Edom. And Amalek is like the main family of Edom. Both of them are the remnant of the giants in the Bible, the remnant of that bloodline that God said, leave nothing alive. Esau, which was a brother of Israel, Jacob in the Bible, took two wives of Canaanite blood. And then his offspring were constantly at war with God's people for the rest of the Bible. God even promised war with Amalek every generation. That's us. So I think the Rothschilds are either the Dukes of Edom or Amalek itself. They are certainly a leading role of evil, force for evil in the world.
Are you at all into the 13 families and what they represent?
Yeah, I mean, I'm familiar with like the more mainstream Illuminati bloodline stuff. There is a lot of truth to that. There are some specifically evil families that we can point to, but it's pretty much all Jews. I can't find a good one.
I live with one. I'm
sorry.
She drives me crazy.
I pray that I am wrong. Let's put it that way.
Well, Jesus was a Jew, right?
No, Jesus was a Yahudim Judahite. So this is a very confusing. I should have started with this. So Jesus was not a Jew. He was a pre-Irish, pre-European man, and the word Jew was not even in Bibles for about 1,400 years. They added the word in later, and they took God's name Yahweh out almost 7,000 times.
So you believe in the Yahweh thing? Because I've heard people say that's not his name.
Well, he has a name. It's not the Lord, which is Baal in English.
Okay.
So we can argue about what that is. Some people have different opinions. The Jews say it's too holy to speak the name, so they took out letters. Other people tried to figure out the new letters that they added in, so they got Jehovah. Some people call it Adonai. Some people, there's different words. I settled on Yahweh because it made the most sense to me.
So do you believe in the Khazarians theory?
Okay, so Khazaria is what came after Edom in historical sense. The Bible leaves off with Edom, Amalek. History picks up with Khazaria. Very close in geographical region. I can show you at the serapeum.com, which is my hidden history library website, all the censored stuff that's disappearing. I can show you where Khazarians came from Mount Seir. Khazaria and empire came from Edom in the Bible. Same group. They changed their names a lot. They've been called the name changers and the name stealers throughout time. Now you have Satan's literal demon children pretending to be God's chosen people, dropping bombs on babies saying Amalek, Amalek, while inverting everything.
So let me ask you something. Isn't the belief that the Khazarians came in and kind of hijacked Judaism at some point, that because the Jews were in fact nomadic, they had no homeland, that it was, and they were like, out of all the Abrahamic religions, let's just say, you know, they were the most easy to basically be able to co-op.
Well, there's the popular opinion that is a little bit based in reality, but it doesn't go deep enough, that Khazaria was basically in a pinch between two religions, and they had to choose a third choice to stay neutral. And the king of Khazaria did force his entire people to convert to Judaism and learn the language. Interestingly enough, that's where we're getting a lot of the Yiddish from. However, that's not the full depth of the story. What really happened was, in response to Christianity, Judaism, which is younger than Christianity, not older, because Pharisaism came first. And this is a little bit different. But basically, it's Talmudic Pharisaism again. But Judaism came in response to Christianity. The Sephardic Jews, or another branch of Canaan, basically reached out to their cousin Canaanites, the other demons, and said, we have a really good grift going on. They actually think we're God's chosen. You should join us. And they said, hell yeah, we're in. And now look at the trouble we're in. People believe this nonsense and rolled out the red carpet to the same people who have continually poisoned our wells and eaten our children, and have been kicked out of 109 countries 1,030 plus times for bloodletting babies like St. Simon of Trent or Andrei Yushensky, or opening the gates like the gates of Toledo, where Spain was conquered by Islam for 800 years. Continual, poisoning of the wells. The Black Plague killed 30% of Christians. That was them.
Can I ask you, pulling on the Jesus thread a bit?
Yeah, sure.
Why did Jesus? And you can tell me if this was this is something that's been altered. Why did he celebrate Passover? He observed the Sabbath. Sukkot? He was circumcised. Those are all Jewish celebrations and rites. Am I wrong in that?
It's a mistake to call them Jewish, because the Yahudim were one branch of Israel, and the Israelites were a chosen family of Hebrews, but none of them were Jews. Jews came from mixing right before the time of Jesus, a guy named John Hyrcanus I, who's of the family of Judah, the guy in the Bible, who is a Judahite king of the country of Judah. He conquered the bad guys, the Edomites. In Greek, they're called Idumeans. So Edomite or Idumeans, depending on the Bible version. The king of Judahites conquered the Idumeans of Judah, conquered Idumea, formed Idumea into Judea, basically. They merged the country, merged the people. So you have God's chosen people, the Judahites, the Judean Judahites, and you have the Satan's literal children, the Judean Edomites or Idumeans.
Did they all observe these?
Jews, right? They're both Judeans, even though Judea is now a multicultural region. Yeah. They're not Yahudim. They're not of the bloodline of Judah, though. They have zero evidence for that.
So your argument is a genetic argument, it sounds like. Is that right?
Well, there are peoples, and basically the Bible tells the story of all the peoples. I mean, we know that there are distinct races and groups. Like, where did they come from? The Bible tells us that. Yeah. But the people of the people of Jesus, the Judahites, the people of Judah, those are what became the Irish people, one of multiple nations that would fulfill many specific prophecies and become a multitude of nations, a blessed multitudinous seed with many, many, many children. Not this one singular nation of less than 2 to 3% of the world population. They were supposed to go and spread the gospel to the world, for example. The Jews don't spread the word at all. They don't even want you to read it. They're trying to outlaw it. So there's actual evidence, including prophecy, including the Bible descriptions of the people of Israel, the actual family of God, of Abraham, that he promised would do all those things and promised those blessings, and told to go and help the other people of the world to learn about God's word. They were supposed to be an example to the world. The Jews are clearly not the people of Abraham, as Jesus told them in his day. If you were of Abraham, you do the actions of Abraham. They're dropping bombs on babies left and right by the tens of thousands. Our bombs, by the way.
You brought up the plague. How do they tie in with the plague?
They poisoned Christian wells. It only affected Christian communities, not Jewish or Islamic communities, and they poisoned 30% of Christians total. They killed 30% of Christianity in one poison attack across Europe.
Is there genetic evidence to support what you said about the Judahites becoming modern day Irish?
Yeah, we even have we have Jewish geneticists admitting they're not the actual people of Israel. For example, 97% of Jews, according to Aaron El-Hayek, I think it was, are not of Abraham. And we also have a ton of evidence, including the anthropology, the etymology, the symbolism, the heraldry, the archaeology, that all point toward, and I'm not even just using Bible, I'm not even talking about biblical descriptions and prophecies, but just the actual sciences, all point toward the Europeans are the lost tribes, plural, of Israel. For example, 1948, Israel fulfills no verse in the Bible. However, America, 1776, is literally in Leviticus 26:18 by the math. So is the founding of the UK in 1801 AD.
Fascinating.
It's interesting. These are dangerous conversations. dangerous conversations, dude. And I think they're important to have. And I'll tell you why. Now, I don't necessarily agree with you. I know a lot of great Jews. I don't think every every Catholic is a pedophile. I don't think every Catholic is co-signing those behavior. I do believe that as you move up in any organization, there tends to be co-opting and the use of data to find out who the psychopaths are and compromise them, position them in certain spots. I'm not necessarily pushing back against you, but I do believe, just my personal thing. Like, I personally think it's the people versus the predator class, and this, we can get into this thing where we all start fighting each other. Like, it's my theory, like with Islam, right? Like, everybody's like, Islam is a bunch of terrorists. Well, the truth of the matter is that those people are traumatized children who've had their entire countries just annihilated by Western military, destroying everything, and then the only work that's available is to join militias, where you become a proxy army sent in to destabilize other Islamic countries, and then eventually you just get killed off, because then the West is like, oh, we're going to take out ISIS and stuff like that. I get nervous when we start to label an entire group of people.
Yeah, I understand. I do not want to, and I just could not find a way around it with God, wanting to wipe out whole bloodlines. But, we have to ask the question, not just why was God mean to this group, but what happened to the Nephilim? Where are the monsters? Did they die out, as many people claim? The Bible says they didn't. And I would argue that Amalek has to be one of two groups, white Westerners or the Jews. Now, the Jews are claiming Amalek is the white Westerners. Amalek is the bad guy in the Bible that God wants to wipe out. And in Obadiah 18, they're all wiped out, 100% worldwide. So we don't want to be Amalek, whoever it is, but finding out the truth is important. And there's zero evidence that we are Amalek. There's every single form of evidence that they are Amalek. And they have stolen the identity of Israel. So it is the most dangerous of truths. In fact, this is the most important stuff on earth to know. And this is why our people perish, the knowledge that they need.
Let me ask you something. Do you believe in that the land that is Israel right now is the biblical Israel, or is it? I've heard theories that it's other areas, and because my theory is that a lot of part of what is going on in Israel is that it is a land bridge that makes it easy to get goods from Asia and Africa to Europe, and that's why they want to control it. Do you have any thoughts on that?
So, yeah, I don't have a problem with it being Jerusalem, but God took Jerusalem away from the Israelites and never gave it back, and promised that they would get a different land in the north. So, like the Jews or the Israelites, none of them have any claim to steal this land from all those Arabs and kill all those babies. It was taken from us. The actual Israelites are the Western Europeans, and we were given new lands after a period of exile and punishment, according to Leviticus 26:18, which is where we get America. So Israel, in the sense, depending on where you're talking about it, but generally the word Israel means the people, not the country, especially like the latter times, in times.
All right. So let's get into some of the other things you wanted to talk about. You wanted to talk about biblical Earth and fake sciences like evolution to high God. Tell me about it, because I'm totally in on the evolution is bullshit. I always say conspiracy always leads to spirituality. You'll eventually realize if they're lying to me about all this other stuff, what else are they lying to me about? And then it becomes, my connection with God.
That's a pretty wise saying, actually. I found God every science I tried to use to debunk God, basically, and I went to debunk this flat Earth thing, and I couldn't, and then I evolved it into biblical Earth because it's far more specific than just flat. We can easily prove flat, and there is a lot of controversy around that. However, it's also young. 6,000 years old, is written on every human and probably animal and monster genetic in the world. In fact, they call it the younger dryas bottleneck in the Y chromosome. But in fact, it shows that all of humanity died except for one man and his 3 sons who survived and then reproduced. And we all come from one of those 3 sons. We all come from Noah and one of his 3 kids. So that's very interesting in our genetic profile that we can test with any human blood in the world in the right labs. Anyone can reproduce this genetic evidence for young Earth. There's also, geocentric Earth. We are the center of the universe. Everything rotates around us. All the stars move around Polaris. Polaris does not move ever. The world itself does not move other than earthquakes. It does not rotate or wobble or do any of the things that NASA claims in their cartoons for which they have no evidence. It's certainly enclosed. We have a firmament. We do not have, gas enclosed without a gas container. We do not have gas pressure without pressure. You need a container to do that. It is a biblical, young, geocentric, stationary Earth, and we are the center of God's eye. His name is literally on our cells, Yahweh, repeating numerically, ATCG, until you take the jab.
So you're into the flat Earth dome thing. I'm into the dome thing.
Yes.
There's recently this Antarctica, situation where they went there. They saw the 24-hour sun. Does that resonate with you at all?
So I'm okay either way on the 24-hour sun, but I was watching very closely, and we have caught like 30 or more anomalies with this footage. I think that they went on a trip. I think they actually went to Antarctica. That footage seems real. However, when they got there, there was a bunch of stuff like vape gate, footprint gate, and a number of other situations like footprints not showing up in the snow where they should, people having to fake cold breath with vapes and such. And it just seemed like they were in a studio. And we have a number of points of evidence to show that, including, lines that are, straight lines in the background. If you zoom in, a sun getting different shapes. It goes from round to egg shaped and back and forth as it goes up and down. It does not perform the way we would expect that footage. And they have tried to fake a 24-hour sun in Antarctica before. So it is a highly suspect final experiment that, by the way, proves nothing because you can't determine the shape of the floor by looking at the lights. So it was kind of a moot point to begin with. But what it did was it showed us who we cannot trust in this movement. And I think that we've exposed a number of controlled oppositions. I actually did a song about this.
You did a song?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you play guitar on it, or is it just you singing?
It's my lyrics with AI music, and I condense this stuff so people who have a short attention span can kind of learn the truth about stuff.
Can we hear it?
Yeah, I'd be happy. Country or rap?
Johnny, which one do you like? Country or rap?
Shoot me. Rap, I guess. I don't know.
Okay. I'll give you the official music video here. Can I share screen?
Yes, please. Yeah. Johnny, let him share. For the love of God.
If you request it, it'll pop up here.
You start. Who do you think was controlled opposition of the group?
All the flat earthers, including people who I respected, who I know, like Austin.
He's talking about Austin Whitsitt. Yeah. You're saying he's lying, is what
I debated Austin about it.
Yeah, I watched it. I think we've discussed this, the two of us, on Twitter. I don't know if you.
I hope I'm wrong.
I think you are. But
Johnny, shots fired! Come on, let him sing his song, Johnny. Then you can get at it, but let him sing his song.
Okay, here it is.
Yeah. The final experiment, the flat earth killer, turned out as nothing but another NASA thriller. They flew to a studio, faked some snow. They thought the public would never know. I'm not surprised that Nicktoon lied, but at the betrayal of Witsit, I nearly cried. To know so much and then betray truth, mixing in lies, these controlled op sleuths. Woo! Turns out, the final experiment, instead of causing much global merriment, destroyed the lie, crushed their balls. Now global atheism will finally fall. Will Duffy and Jaron, both disappointments, forgot to even include the camp tents. The whole damn thing, entirely fake. And wait till you see Witsit's vape. What's up now? Missing boot prints and untrodden snow. Shadows and lighting that doesn't flow. No go, no wind or cold breath. Shirts removed. It was negative 33 Celsius and breezeless at noon. Whoa! Turns out the final experiment, instead of causing much global merriment, destroyed the lie, crushed their balls. Now global atheism will finally fall. They set up some cameras in a round studio. You could rent one of these from Hollywood too. They filmed each other prancing around, digital misshapen bouncy sun going round, up and down. Now I have no problem with the 24-hour sun. Most biblical earth models predicted Joe Hamby's got one, but it's all suspicious and seems like a lie, and they all act like they got something to hide. Whoa! Turns out the final experiment, instead of causing much global merriment, destroyed the lie, crushed their balls. Now global atheism will finally fall. Indirect answers, questions avoided, all the footage as of yet not uploaded. I reached out privately, got vague answers, deft wordplay from these verbal dancers. But I know logic, Witsit's not the only debater, and we'll expose them all sooner or later. I challenge these guys to a debate on this trip, an Antarctic deception-controlled Oppos tripped. Whoa! Turns out the final experiment, instead of causing much global merriment, destroyed the lie, crushed their balls. Now global atheism will finally fall. The sun was too high compared to Norway. We're just getting started. There's much more to say. Crepuscular shadows, divergent shades. Witsit got triggered cause I'm casting some shade. Needs to fade. Very local lighting gives them away. Nicktoon's globe pacing makes it easy to say I'm not mad at the globe, faithful for this fuss. I'm grateful for clarity, who we can trust. Whoa! Turns out the final experiment, instead of causing much.
Yes! Yes!
All right.
You like it?
All right. We don't want to get into debate on it. Johnny's very passionate.
I am too.
I think it would threaten to derail this.
I want Austin to be innocent, and I want these things debunked. And I'm following up with him on each point by point to basically get these things.
And you
debunked.
don't think the footage they've released has addressed most of?
And here we go. Here we go.
No, to be fair, I think we've had about 20 new points, but we have debunked a couple of these points. Like in the debate, we debunked the drone gate thing. I think that's debunked. Yeah. The part where you saw Austin kneeling down, that was actually fake. That was edited footage, and I regret it's in my music video, but we talked about that in the debate. He said that was someone editing it in. I don't think people should be editing things together to make them look guilty. That's wrong. That is a deception. But we do have a bunch of questions remaining, so I have it all posted at my 24-hour sun post. It's titled Every Flat Earth Model Predicts a 24-hour sun in Antarctica, but did they fake it? At thesarapayam.com. So I'm tracking all of it, including the rebuttals and the counter rebuttals and each allegation that has been brought forth, none of which I've made personally. I'm just tracking the allegations, basically. And I have told these guys, I need ammo to defend you from day one, and I'm still looking for ammo to defend them.
Right. I can't imagine what more they could have done, honestly, to prove that they went there. The flight was tracked. They all had compasses on the way there. They had IR photography recording the flight as they landed. We've got
I believe the
high quality 360-degree footage of it on the ground. They've documented their travel to the location. I think, by the way, your share is still up. I think most of this is addressed by, and I hate to say this, but your simple misunderstanding of 180-degree and 360-degree footage and how it's processed. It is processed in camera to eliminate parallax. That's all processing done in the camera before it's ever even processed in post.
I did mark parallax as possibly debunked because I didn't know enough about the 24-hour camera.
In lens artifacts, or I should say, lens effects on light in a 180-degree camera, which is the most extreme form of fisheye, is going to, of course, make the sun appear to warp and wobble in the sky as it circles. I would just say that's quite a good position to be in, where in either case you're right. So, it doesn't matter.
Johnny, I do gotta say this. It's fine if you're like the 24-hour sun. That's real, right? But you believe we live on a spinning ball.
No, I never said that. I just think it's a really good position to be in, that this is fake, but also it doesn't matter. To me, you have to stake out a position.
It really is.
No.
To be honest, yeah, it is. I mean, I don't care about the 24-hour sun.
Why even go to war on this? Why would they fake it if it didn't matter?
Because they needed to fake the moon landing for the same reason. They need you to not believe in God desperately now at the end more than
I
ever.
agree with that.
What do you think about now David Weiss? Do you think he's been discredited by this whole thing, because he's been one of the staunchest defenders of
I imagine yes. I hope not. I know him, and I hope that I'm wrong. He's been on my show a couple times, and I've done debates.
Well, what about his model? His model surely can't stand with a 24-hour sun. The model that's in his app.
His model wants a land beyond the ice wall, which does not exist, because that's the next form of outer space for aliens to still exist, which is also still fake. There is a firmament. There are no lands beyond the firmament.
So it stops at the firmament.
Yeah, and you cannot get through it. They tried.
All right. Yeah, like I said, we continued on this.
See, but now there's a debate between the flat Earth. Is there something after the ice wall or not? Because Bravo's still
there's the ice wall, yeah, and then there's like about 800 miles, give or take, a rough estimate. Admiral Byrd basically was able to reach the end almost with his old style plane, but let's say 1,000 miles or so max, and then you hit, and that's also old maps and such, and then you hit the actual firmament.
And you don't believe people circumnavigate Antarctica on boats?
Yeah, but it's about 70,000 kilometers in a big giant circle, and they actually enclose all 6 continents while doing so.
Okay.
I find it so interesting. But Johnny, you can't believe that the Earth is round and we're hurling through space.
The hurling through space thing, I definitely have my doubts about that. No, if I had to fall, I did say before they went down there that, the outcome of that would determine where I fell on things. And yeah, I'm still open-minded, but I'm no flat earther. I can tell you that. No.
Jaron was and now isn't, based on just this one thing. And he's been doing debates and teaching flat earth for a long time now, which is strange. So he won't debate me now on flat earth, which is also strange.
I think he seems terribly disillusioned now to me from the little I've seen of him. And he hasn't talked much since, he had that moment on his show where he was like, I just can't do this anymore.
What about Flat Earth Dave? Did he?
No, he didn't go. He wasn't there. He just.
No, but did you still? I haven't heard his theory on it.
They're still flat. Austin and Flat Earth Dave are still flat.
They're both
Duffy and Jaron are out.
What do you think?
Who's the other one that's out?
Duffy, the organizer, the pastor.
That guy was not a flat earth. He was.
Yeah, he was clearly controlled opposition, which really just, unfortunately, cast shade on everyone involved with it.
I hesitate to. I think he wanted to get the outcome he got, certainly, but I don't. I hesitate to call him controlled opposition. What just happened?
I don't know. I think ice came through the door and he's got to run. So let's get back to the sciences. There's so much science going on. There's this real discussion right now. I'm a terrain theorist. I am open-minded to that there is microbiomes or they're spraying the skies and all that stuff, but I don't buy into any of the virus stuff. They've been caught too many times lying about that stuff. I just watched Dr. Andrew Kaufman break down how, all these articles are coming out about how they've done Cox postulates with COVID, and it's a total lie. And he breaks down these articles and all the studies that they cite. And then when he goes to the studies literally say they do this thing called Rivers revisions. Which is basically this guy Rivers is like, okay, this Cox postulates is way too hard to prove. We're gonna do a little fuzzy math here and make it a lot easier. And basically the way they isolate the virus isn't actually isolating it. It's kind of along the lines of, hey man, there's enough here that there's probably a virus. What are your thoughts on all that?
So I am also a terrain theorist. The virus is fake. It's all poison. It's always been poison. When you get sick, it's because they are poisoning you for the most part.
Yeah, that's what my belief is too.
Parasites also.
And they also want you to stick you with these vaccines that have heavy metals in it, and who knows what other technology they got in now. And it just sucks because we can never, ever, ever just relax. It's a constant, because the predators are always hunting, right? Like, it's like National Geographic. Like, the prey just wants to eat, chill, lay out in the sun, and the predators are always hunting. That's the same thing when you get into these Nephilim descendants that you talk about, that I agree with. They're constantly hunting this stupid thing with again, going back to the OpenAI guy who has been associated with murder and molesting his sister for a long time. And the data that comes out, like, they've just done data on this guy. I guarantee you they've been watching this dude for decades, going, this guy's smart enough, he's insane enough, he's cutthroat enough. We're going to position him, we're going to nudge him in ways that get him into this position that we can control him. And now, once again, and we talk about this all the time, how they never, ever, ever have a new playbook. It's the same exact playbook, which is exactly what they did with Bill Gates, which is not a doctor, never studied any kind of medicine, now giving us health advice. Now we got this Sam guy. What's his name, Johnny? Sam Altman. And now he is, he's going to help us with vaccines.
Well, they're also talking about vaccinating for cancers now too. Like, I mean, that's what Larry Ellison was there to talk about, how that, these cancers can be identified now with blood tests, they say, before they actually form into, full-blown cancer, and that they can come up with personalized inoculations against certain types of cancers, which, I mean, that sounds scary.
That is poison based on your social credit score. Let me just very simplify this. Jabs bad. Beast grid system bad. 15-minute cities and freedom cities, same thing, bad. You have left versus right. They're both going to pitch it to you. They're all evil.
Freedom cities, is that an actual thing?
That's
or are you
the
just
Trump thing, yeah.
That's what Trump calls 15-minute cities, freedom cities.
Oh, he hasn't said that, has he really?
Yeah, he has,
so
100%.
What is the way they name things? The Patriot Act. It's the way they name things.
But what did and it's actually what like
his new executive order. Sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead, John.
No, please, no. I'm
on a saloon. So his new executive order enacts basically just that. It's Operation Warp Speed is going to be on steroids with Operation Stargate. It's going to be 5G AI everywhere for everyone.
I mean, I just found one that says it's going to have flying cars, Johnny.
Jetsons with Jewish, Skynet.
Okay. 10 freedom cities with flying cars. They're coming.
And are these new cities? Yeah, new cities or
right after the directed energy weapons and explosive smart meters destroy whole neighborhoods, but leave the bushes and trees untouched.
And by the way, sorry to cut you off, dude. Watch Arizona. The insurance companies have been dropping houses, covering houses.
Fire.
So they dropped them
For fire or for what?
Yes, for fire.
Arizona's going to fucking have fires now.
And if you're moving to Austin, which I'm thinking hard about doing, you better not be in the city, because there's no way that's not on the list of smart cities. There's no way. I would watch. I mean, and if you have a smart meter on your house, get rid of that thing. Get it off your house.
I don't think you can get rid of it, Sam. I think it's part of Edison, and Edison runs the electricity. Because we used to have one of those meters that used to be like, it used to spin on its own.
Yeah.
And they came, and my dad used to keep it because he used to do sketchy shit with it, make it stop fucking spinning. And they came and put a digital one, and the digital one, you can't you have to take it.
Some cities will allow you, some jurisdictions will allow you to, or some companies will allow you, depending on the state and company, to request for an old one and pay an extra fee. And even some of the old ones will still basically be like a smart meter that looks like an old one. You got to be smart and check.
And if they don't, just get the fuck out of there. Leave.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be. I guarantee it's going to get harder and harder to sell homes that have smart meters.
I'm going to be traveling with a tent and some goats and like survival and goat milk, chicken eggs. And
I love that.
I got the beard for it already with the
Little House on the Prairie. That shit.
And after censorship is so bad, I'm going to be using messenger pigeons to get the word out.
Yeah, start email blasts. Yeah. So, are there any other sciences you think we should be wary of outside of, obviously, evolution?
Yeah, I mean, there's a number of sciences that I think are dangerous, but evolution, globe Earth, heliocentrism, all of this is to make you think God is not real. And if you'll believe God is not real, then you'll be ready for the aliens or your big brothers from another mother or friends from another planet or even invading aliens, whatever, old gods, whatever they want to pitch them as. They're trying to use panspermia, which replaces evolution, saying that they made us with their genetics and evolution is debunked. And now our alien forebears and creators are here to redeem us and such. That's in a lot of the movies now. That's called panspermia because they know evolution is debunked. But basically, we are at a point where it's either to not make you not believe in God, like the Bible talks about the great deception, the great falling away, the great apostasy, when the love of many would grow cold, their faith would grow cold. I think that is fake science. And we can tie this fake science or scientism to learning against learning, which is a Cardinal Wolsey strategy, which was papal approved in Rome about 500 years ago, where they basically tried to debunk God and push heliocentrism using fake scientists like Copernicus, Galileo, Newton, Kepler, etc., who were more into the seance than the science. They were occultists, and Newton himself decoded the emerald tablets of Hermes and then tried to push that gravity and globe Earth nonsense as actual science. But he got it from there. He didn't come up with the idea of gravity. Anyway, it's all pre-flood nonsense that comes back. But there's the other side of science, which is the control and kill stuff. So the climate change, the transgenderism, the CRT, the divide and conquer, it's all basically to destroy. I mean, everything from Common Core, which is Satan pushed, Satanism pushed. Satanists are pushing this literally in our school system. We can show it's Satanists pushing it to dumb down and destroy our children, to the culture wars, what I call the sin war. It's a religious agenda. It's part of the seed war. They really are out to destroy us and to drag us to hell with them. But all the sciences, I mean, all this transgenderism stuff is clearly fake science, but you can go to baby talcum powders, you can go to nicotine for pregnant women, you can go to all of this nonsense that they've been pushing. Transgender men, breastfeeding, gender swapping, 4-year-old or 4-month-old babies. It's just insane.
It is insane. And again, like when we get into control oppositions and stuff like that, it's like on YouTube. If you get front page on YouTube, you get a bunch of eyeballs on you, and that's the power of reach. And even if you get into like libs of TikTok, everyone loves libs of TikTok, but that woman is constantly pushing this thing that maybe it's everywhere, but she makes it seem like it's everywhere, which kind of like fucks with our loosh, right? That all these teachers are transgender. Like my kids are in school in LA. I don't know where you get more progressive than that. I've never seen any of that stuff. I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but again, it's like if you're getting pushed, you're getting the reach. It's fucking with you, man. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I used to have a lot of reach. I was a big YouTuber, but they take it away from you when you start going off the safety rails, and I did, and I'm in the deep end now, and it's pretty hard to get the truth out there. So I appreciate you having me on. It takes a lot of courage to do that. But in terms of, freedom of speech, but no freedom of reach, that's the new thing they're pushing, and that's going to get them through until we're all dead. So they don't need another strategy after that. We're pretty close to the end now. If they don't get us this year, and I think that they are going to start, I predict the Great Tribulation and Trump's second term are synonymous, and we're in it now. It has begun, so to speak. That beast is now back in power. I think that they are going to take us out. A large portion of the West will be broken this year, and we will see the beginning of the end. Or we'll have a revolution, and they won't survive it.
What?
Obadiah 18.
When you say that, what do you think happens?
Okay, so they're going to be pulling the rug out from under primarily the West, but the whole world. I mean, it's going to be a huge war, West versus East and Middle East. It's going to be the economy, possibly also its rug pulled out from under us. Trump did a lot of good things last time by almost doubling the debt and printing a lot of money, and it seemed good under his time, which was one of the actual prophecies of the Antichrist, that he would cause craft to prosper under his policy. However, I don't think that we can keep that game running too much longer. The dollar is dying. Economic hardship is coming. The price of eggs has tripled. If patriots are in control, they're not in control of the grocery store prices, that's for sure. So not just the food, but also the wars. I mentioned the drafts, also the pandemic with the next bird flu or triple pandemic or whatever the hell they're going to do with it. Also, the mass immigration clergy stuff has accelerated. The targeting at not just the justice level with J6ers and such. Now Trump's helped a bit, but even the IRS, and he's coming up with a new form of IRS, the ERS, the External Revenue Service. So now we'll have worldwide IRS coming after you if you are white and or Asian and speak out in any form against the Jews politically. That is what the IRS is now deeming a threat to national security, and they're targeting primarily whites and Asians, but any political dissenters. So they're coming at you with every possible angle: medical, spiritual, economic, physical, war. It's the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse will ride this year.
So either way it was happening. Go ahead, John.
No chance he actually gets rid of the IRS. I don't think there is, but do you think there's any chance?
No, and if he does something good, he'll replace it with something worse. If 15-minute cities are out, freedom cities are in.
So that's what I was about to say. I was kind of a little... I had positivity in me since Trump won, but you're telling me either way we were fucked? If Biden won, it was just going to be faster?
We're going to have some rah-rah moments on the way out, but the reason they had Trump and not Hillary is because they needed us to take the poison and wipe ourselves out. And this is what Trump was for, trust.
It sounds like what you're saying is that Biden would actually have been better for humanity because he's not.
That's what I'm hearing.
Well, in terms of who's I'm not left or right. I think they're both absolutely 100% Jewish controlled, like Thomas Massey said.
But one's the literal Antichrist, you're saying, right? Like one is actually the Antichrist.
One is a highly trusted Antichrist coming with a whole bunch of new betrayals, a Trojan Trump waiting at the gate, now in the gate, unleashing Jews everywhere. And the other is a geriatric dotard Jewish puppet or a Jewish whore, Kamala, who's also Jewish herself. Either way, Jewish puppet, nobody trusted, very little power comparatively. The trusted Vax Daddy King Jew is far more deadly than the not trusted whore Jew or geriatric Jew. Just putting it. I'm blunt. I don't mean to be aggressive or mean. It's just I'm a blunt person. Time is short, and I don't often get a chance to speak. So, I want to put this out there very clearly that if we're talking about greater threat, greater danger, Trump clearly. But I'm not saying vote Kamala. You're just voting for the other.
Kamala's Jewish?
Yeah. She's a Jew pretending to be a Hindu that's pretending to be a black.
Do you think that was autism? That was an autistic sign that he did up there? Or do you think he knew what he was doing?
What do you mean?
The Nazis. You're talking about Elon, right?
Elon Musk. Yeah, you think that was on purpose? You were saying it's Jewish. You wouldn't do that.
No. Elon has been mass banning the so-called Nazis and Hitler bros on Twitter, while now he's being called out for it in mass, and his credibility is absolutely ruined. He's exposed for the H-1B visa stuff. So he's backtracking. He's trying to get some credibility and face back, and he's throwing out the Heil Hitler shit to basically make us think he's one of us.
So...
And I'm not a pro-Hitler.
We the Hitler bros? Because I got banned from Twitter. Are we the Hitler bros?
Well, the Groypers were primarily the targets, but it was over the H-1B visa criticism of Elon Musk. Anyone who dared criticize unlimited H-1B Indian visa immigration is basically banned now on Twitter. Large accounts. And it fell primarily among the Hitler bros, the Natsocks, and the Groypers. I'm not pro-Hitler. I am pro-Nazis. They were the good guys, but the governments were once again controlled up.
Okay. So hold on. Now, okay. So you don't buy into that Hitler was a British agent.
I think he was a Jew pretending to be. He was a Jew supported by the British and the banksters to basically destroy and
Germany from inside.
Destabilize Germany from inside.
Yeah.
I get a lot of heat for that from those guys too.
Yeah, the Hitler dick riders just can't come to grips with that, and because they just can't come to grips with the fact that after World War I, Germany was on such lockdown. The odds on somebody like that rising up naturally is actually completely impossible. And he doesn't even go after Switzerland, where the bank that's been stealing Germany's wealth is located, because they got mountains. That's what the whole thing. Oh, there's so many mountains. He didn't want to go up the mountain. You're like, oh, okay, so he didn't want to go after the Bank of International Settlements because of the mountains. The guy's working with fucking whatever's going on in Antarctica, but he's afraid of mountains. Gotcha.
Dustin, though, did you say you were pro-Nazi but anti-Hitler? Is that what I'm
the books the Nazis were burning were transgender porn in the schools. I'm okay with those normal Christian German citizens tired of the smut and porn and sin war in their culture, but the government, as always, was not on their side. Thule Society, secret society, Jewish bankster backing, killed all of the Germans and sent the young people to their deaths on these aggressive attacks, and then retired to Argentina. Didn't really die. Hitler was a Zionist, and via the transfer agreement, he basically paid for the Nakba, the catastrophe in Palestine, where they're killing all the babies and have been since 1948. That's the Nakba, they call it, the catastrophe.
So he co-opted National Socialism, is what you're saying, and destroyed it.
Yeah, I mean, National Socialism was just socialism in a different form. I'm not a socialist. I'm a capitalist who's given up everything to tell the truth for people willingly. Hitler, but I still believe in individual rights and such. Hitler was Jewish. He hung out with Jewish women. His entire regime was obsessed with the occult. It's on his coins, symbols, etc. He was financed and supported by Jewish banksters and the Bushes. He built Israel as planned by the Rothschilds in 1917 or before, and the Havara transfer agreement was merely a tool to make it happen. Quote from top Zionist leader Nahum Sokolau, quote, "Hitlerism enables us to convert all Jews to Zionism," end quote. The results of Hitler's legacy are utter devastation and enslavement of the German peoples. After ordering Germany's youth to the front lines, Hitler fled to Argentina in secret with a convenient cover story hoax suicide death. Nazi equals nationalist plus Zionist alliance. There's even a coin about this.
Well, Ashkenazi, and then you got the end, it's Nazi. I mean, it's kind of right there. But yeah, that's a big danger. That's a dangerous topic that nobody wants to get into. Is, if you cannot tell me with 100% certainty who Hitler's biological grandfather is, then anything's possible, in my humble opinion. Anything is possible. And
I have a post on this at the sarahpayham.com/Hitler. It's titled "Hitler, the Jewish Puppet Who Built Israel." But he saved the economy to spend it on bailing out the Jewish World Congress and Zionism, and he built Israel for the Jews. He unified Germany behind a suicidal military brother wars that destroyed its youth. And in terms of the genetics, there's the glaring hole of the grandmother who was a whore out of wedlock, and she will not say who. But then there's also the mother herself. Poles is a Jewish name.
Damn. So
I got it all, and they won't debate me.
Aliens. Aleister Crowley talked about how angels and demons will be called a different name, and a lot of people believe that is aliens. Your whole thoughts on that? I think I know, but what are your thoughts on that? I mean, I don't believe in that. My favorite thing is how, 1 second, the U.S. government's like, there's this red balloon and we can't do anything about it. And then 2 weeks later, it's like, we shot down this craft from another planet. You're like, okay, you can't deal with the balloon, but you shot down this craft from light years away, shows up, and you're like, pew, 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 pew. And it just goes, dude, they think you're dumb.
Well, it's the Genesis 6 fallen angels returned as the prophecy of one Enoch, which was in the Dead Sea Scrolls, says. They were released after 70 generations for the crime, imprisonment in the ground for the crime of creating the Jews in the first place.
Oh,
and I'm the only Nephilim expert in the world who will tell you what happened to them, by the way. The other guys either can't figure it out or just don't have the courage to tell you that they became someone, and that someone happens to be the Jews, who have all of the evidence that they came from the Canaanites, even admitting it. But basically, aliens or fallen angels returned. They're here for a limited time. They're angry at us, and they did the same thing now they're doing then, which is Genesis 6 all the way up to the flood. In that time that they were active, they taught mankind knowledge for sin. Abortion and all other forms of sin went through the roof. Violence went through the roof. Weapons and technology and flying aircraft and all the other things that we use now All were given to us, and we started to kill each other with it. That's the legacy of the pre-flood Genesis 6 fallen watchers. There was even a specific angel whose specialty was to teach abortion named Kokabel. So there are 200 of these things now released to help Satan in the final war to unite the Jew world order. And, you know, this is what we're seeing, all the rise in evil, technology, sin, and abortion all at once. And Planned Parenthood's temples look the same as the ancient world. If I can show you side-by-side pictures in many cases.
What do you think of MH370? Do you have an opinion on that? I know that's a topic that continues to divide our space online. Do you have an opinion on that?
They've been using fallen angel breakaway technology for decades now. They have stuff we don't know about. It doesn't mean it comes from outer space, which is fake. It's all Star Trek and Hollywood. But it does mean that they're light years beyond us in terms of, you know, technology. I mean,
so you think that footage is legitimate? The footage of the plane blipping?
I'm not an expert on deep fake stuff. So without knowing if it's deep faked, and I think people have confirmed it's not with like the different editing tools, then yeah, I believe they could disappear something. Why not? Okay. I mean, we have fallen angels with basically IQ 5,000 whose last sight on Earth before they were entombed for thousands of years was to watch their children literally eat each other to death. They were starving. The Titans were going huge and could not stop growing. Like if you mix a lion and a tiger today, you get an unstoppable cat that never stops growing called a liger. Fortunately, it doesn't live very long because they have a much shorter lifespan than a person would back in that time of about 500 years or longer. These things had puberty for basically 490 years.
That's fascinating. It
never stopped getting
painting,
bigger.
Right? Saturn devouring his son. You know that horrible painting.
The Greeks stylized it as the clash of the Titans, and they told a story about what it meant, which was that Kronos did not want to be overthrown by his children, so he kept eating them all. And then Zeus was replaced by a rock as a baby, grew up to a man and killed dad and took over. That's the clash of the Titans, but it doesn't make any sense. In fact, the genetics would point to the reason for the Titans' death being their, just like Genesis 6 talks about. They basically consumed all of the produce of man, and then when they ate everything, they turned against man themselves and started to eat everything, even mankind. They were running out of food, and eventually they ate each other. So the clash of the Titans was really just their children, their firstborn, eating one another to death out of starvation.
Fascinating.
They want revenge. And they don't have much time. They're already damned. This is who's in charge, and this is why, like, it takes God to win this. We would need miracles to win this. We're in prophecy, biblical end times, tribulation, because to put it quite frankly, and I know this is a bit of a black pill, where we are is that the Jews have already poisoned a good majority of the world. Half of the white women, for example, are no longer fertile. We are on the way out. We are nearly extinct. They're bragging about how they've already replaced us in one. There's no way we turn this around without God. And with God, all things are possible. I mean, we were down to 8 people with Noah and the flood, but everybody else on earth had become Jewish. All flesh had become corrupted. Everybody was a Nephilim. So, you know, Jesus told us, as in the days of Noah, it would be like in the end times. And I think that meant genetic corruption at a large level. We're seeing it with the mRNA. We're also seeing it with mixing animals, GMO crops, all of that. Glow-in-the-dark pigs, goats that have spider silk that grows in their milk that's like an armor.
Crazy.
Just weird stuff.
Crazy.
Nephilim. Demons. This is where demons come from. A demon is a dead Nephilim. A dead Jew, in my opinion. You see why I get in trouble, though, right?
Oh yeah, a little bit.
we
A little
get
bit.
it. We get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm the nicest guy.
Yeah.
I don't mean to be mean. It's just this is the truth as I see it. I can't find a way around it.
You left us speechless for a quick second. Sam was like, "What? Is it my turn?"
Yeah. I mean,
He's
it's
probably getting
definitely
death
crazy.
threats for hosting me already, and we haven't even
No,
published this yet.
buddy. We have the dangerous. We have the dangerous. You know, probably not going to be able to put ads on this episode, but that's okay because I'd rather have the conversation than not have the conversation. And I do believe that we need to be able to talk about anything all the time, because if you don't talk about anything all the time, this is where you'll never solve a problem anywhere. And You're very brave in coming out and saying what you're saying. Some people are going to agree with some of it. Some people are going to agree with all of it. Some people are not going to agree with any of it. And that's just what we do is we put the information out there and we let it go. And I think it's interesting because something's happening and people need to, I mean, I hate to say it, but there's so many people that are just asleep and they just don't care. And they'd rather focus on anything but this. Because they don't want to believe they brought their kids into like chaos and destruction. And they'd rather just wait to the day when everything crashes and burns. You know, it's like LA with these fires. You know, when you're a one issue voter and your issue is either abortion or stopping hate, you vote in barbarians who come in and burn your city down. That's just the way it is. So if you don't pay attention to everything, these predators are constantly attacking all the time. And it just makes me super sad. And so, you know, I just want to end it on this real quick because you had brought up Q. You know, we've discussed Q in the back. You were a Q guy. You're not a Q guy. Is it your thoughts that maybe Q was real at one point, got co-opted? Was it, you know, I said it was like the elites telling us everything they're going to do, Operation Trust, bring us in, maybe pacify us, and then kind of, you know, and then just flip everything, which is kind of what they ended up doing.
Yeah, I mean, we can prove Q has connections to Trump and like legitimate insider photos and such, but we can also show that like the whole trust sessions nonsense is crap, and it was all an Operation Trust strategy to get us complacent. So Q rehashed old truth, taught us some stuff we already knew, and said, you know, fake news, trust the plan a lot, basically. And Trump kept doing air cues and reinforcing it from his angle to make people believe in it more and more. So he basically amplified the con. So I think that the Q movement is, if anything, it's Trump's embarrassment. But it is also interesting that the Q guys are now all saying, we told you so. Look, patriots are back in control. Look, Trump's going to arrest the bad guys. They have this like 5 minutes of we thought we were right. And then it's going to all crash and burn for them. But right now they believe that the patriots are in fact in control. And it's proven by the fact Trump just got back in.
While Hillary Clinton still walks.
Yeah. I mean, all the promises, man. Lock her up, turn to lock you down. 15 minutes to slow the spread, turn to 15 million or more dead. It's going to happen again.
One last question. You say that it's all pretty Jewish, but I mean, I look at Patrick Bet Davis, Candace Owens. You don't think any of them, or you think they're just honey dick? You just think they're falling for it?
Well, Candace Owens' husband is Jewish.
She's Catholic. No, she's Catholic. But I'm talking about Patrick Bet Davis. Tucker Carlson, he's Christian too. He's on the boat. You think they're just all falling for it?
I don't. There's something I've seen about him in the past, and I can't remember what it is, so I don't want to repeat anything about Patrick Bet David. But with Candace Owens, I've seen some convincing stuff that her husband is Jewish ethnically. I know that they call themselves Catholic, but like you can't stop being a white man, you can't stop being a black man, you can't stop being a Jew. It's an ethnicity. They have a religion too. You know, whites used to have Christianity, and it spread. Jews call Judaism their religion, although other people can join it as well, and that doesn't make them a Jew, not really ethnically. And Jews will never really accept them. It's a joke for them. So the religion is a cover for the ethnic hatred of other peoples, the Loxism of Genesis 3:15.
Do you think those people are damned by their genetics, or that they can be somehow redeemed?
So, you know, I believe that God has already damned the fallen angels and their offspring. God clearly hated this genetics to the point where people today think God is a mean bully and maybe not even the same God as the New Testament, because all of the leave nothing alive passages. There's a lot of that in the Bible. And the reason is that these things are monsters. But does Jesus have a difference of opinion? I don't think so. He told them, Jews are the children of Satan. He told us Jews are the children of Satan in John 8:44 at the end, and that they were not Israelites but infiltrating. At John 8:33-44, he told us that they are the synagogue of Satan multiple times. That's the only religion that has a synagogue. He said to them, "Where I go, you cannot come." In John 8:21-24. Now, to his apostles, he said later, "Where I go, you cannot come now, but you can come later." So there's a difference here. He said to them, but he answered and said unto them, "Why do ye also transgress the commandment of God by your tradition?" Now, he said tradition, we say Talmud because it's been published since his time. That's in Matthew 15:3. He told them, ye serpents, ye generation of vipers, how can you escape the damnation of hell? In Matthew 23:33. A generation is a Bible talk for genetics. Noah was saved because he was pure in his generations in a time of all flesh being corrupted. Matthew 23:13. That means a generation, a race of vipers. They're the Nephilim. He's calling them literally serpents. And in Matthew 23:13, he says, but woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you shut up the kingdom of heaven against men, for you neither go in yourselves, neither suffer ye them that are entering to go in. So these demon Jews want to drag us to hell. 23:15. Matthew 23:15, ye make him twofold more the child of hell than yourselves. I can just keep going, but basically the parable of the tares and the wheats. Jesus warned us about these demons that look like us and are not us and that are beyond salvation. Every plant not planted by the Heavenly Father will be thrown in the fire.
Okay, so I just have one quick more question for you, and then we'll wrap it up.
Anything, sure.
Thank you for coming on. I always enjoy these conversations. People like we've had Adam Green on the show before. His whole thing, Christianity is, it's very weird because he's anti-Christianity, but you both have your opinion on the Jew world order or whatever you want to call it. You both kind of agree on it in a weird way from different angles, but there's a big surge right now on YouTube, on everywhere. Jesus wasn't real. Christianity is a psyop. All these thoughts. What are your thoughts on that?
Let me be very clear. I absolutely wrecked Adam Green, and I will absolutely wreck anyone else in a debate. It's such a point where he bans and blocks anyone who even brings it up while claiming that Christians won't debate him. Adam Green is a Jew pretending to be, cosplaying as a Viking European man while leading people astray, telling them to burn the Bible. Okay, the only thing that can protect you from his Jewish friends that he goes to visit in Israel, where he complains about the moisture of the matzah bread as he gets insider access, etc. And by the way, people have died in disappearances like Matthew North in connection to Adam Green, quite possibly. So there are controlled opposition. He's one of them. He worked at Viasat and had a long, lengthy overstay with the telecom industry between his creation of his independent media and his supposed, working in telecom for them as some sort of an engineer or something, low end, he says, but no. The point I'm making is that I've wrecked him in a debate. He's a liar. He has no idea what he's talking about. And anyone who believes this new atheist nonsense has no discernment or ability to research.
Okay. You guys did have a debate?
Oh, yeah. Bring it up. He'll block you. It was actually on Jaren's channel, Debatism.
Interesting. Well,
the whole debate was briefly. The whole debate was this.
Tease off on me.
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
No. Adam's friend of show. He occasionally tease off on me on the internet, but I just find it interesting because there is this big push to demonize Christianity. It's just a very interesting thing to me, and
to be fair, the whole point that I made the entire time, I only had to use one argument, and that is the word Jew was not in original Bibles, because he just keeps trying to read passages and say the Jews want this and that. Anyway, I'm happy to have that debate again. I would love if he wants to rehash it or go through it again. Maybe you can moderate for us, but it'll never happen because he is there to lie to people.
Damn. I'm going to hear it from him. I know.
My words, not yours. Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't know. Sorry. I didn't mean to get you in trouble or cause drama
all
with your
good,
friends.
Bro. I'm all about conversations.
Yeah. He's lying to people about Christ, and he doesn't want to have that conversation. He wants to avoid me.
Dustin, how do you feel about violence with respect to the coming conflict you described? Do you think it's justified?
Well, I certainly detest it normally, speaking. I'm a peaceful person by nature. I certainly wouldn't stand by and let someone get hurt in front of me or anything like that. I've won most of the fights I've been in my life, but I didn't start most of them. With that said, there are the Phineas type situations where sometimes God needs righteous violence. King David was picked to replace King Saul because King Saul refused to kill all the Jews. So King David, a man after God's own heart, was picked, a giant killer, to become king because King Saul refused to wipe out Amalek, the term we've been using the whole time. Amalek, Edom, them. the bad guys, the Nephilim. King Saul let God down and was punished for it. So there are times when we do need righteous violence, and I think Obadiah 18 is an example of it. And frankly, you don't need the Bible to predict the coming revolution. I don't think I need to be part of it, but it's clear to see that white people are about to rise up and kill all the Jews.
And we end on a positive note. Guys, great episode. One more time, tell them where they could find you.
DustinNemos.com if I don't get my door kicked in for that one.
Go to Dustin, check him out. If you love what he's saying, check him out, support him, and enjoy these highlights.
Here's a clip from the latest Broken Sim.
It says an estimated 80% of the world's population has never been on an airplane.
What percentage?
80%.
80 has never been on an airplane.
That's counting all the Africans and Indians.
Oh, Johnny, dude, was that is this a new character you're playing?
Yes, it is.
Was that a new character?
It's called My Uncle. It's called My Uncle.
Is this a new satire character you're playing? I bet you the Africans haven't flown. Is it satire? You gotta put that up there. Satire. So, anyways, I get sent videos all the time. Okay. And a friend of mine, this gorgeous woman named Angie, she constantly is sending me
titty shots.
No, I wish. She's got a fat rack.
Nice.
It's Angela, excuse me. My friend Angela.
You call
my
her
friend Angela. I can call her whatever I want. She's hot. She's like hot. She's like hot.
Sounds like she's hot.
No, she's like professional athlete hot.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
Right?
Yeah.
Angela sends me funny videos all the time. And I took the video. She sent me this one video of a woman. I didn't even know who it was. A chick talking about a bad day for women. All right.
Okay.
And I always have this thing where I like to poke the bear, talk about how we should get rid of women's rights to vote. It makes me laugh because I know it pisses them off so much.
And some people think you're very serious about that. It's so funny to me.
I mean, here's the whole thing, Johnny. I'm not asking for it, but if they did it, I'd be like, okay, cool. You know, why not? You know, okay, I'm down. Let's see how it plays out. That's what I would say. Let's see how it plays out. I'm not going to campaign for it. Okay.
I can guarantee you things wouldn't get worse. I can say that for sure.
I think it would. I think, again, I think politically things would be way better if we didn't allow women to vote. But this is America and everyone has a right. You know, we're all seen as equal. So they can vote. But if we passed one that said they couldn't vote, I'd be okay with that too. That'd be fine. I'm not going to ask for it. You won't see me starting to change.org, which I'm thinking about starting one to have Nevada annex San Diego. I'm thinking about starting that change.org. So if I can get Nevada to take over San Diego, I can move to San Diego and then not live in California anymore. So Angela, who I love with all my heart, sends me a video of this chick saying that we've had a bad day for women, okay? And she goes through the series of steps of this bad day for women, okay? And the first one is, you know, it wasn't Melania's where in the world is Carmen Sandiego outfit that she had. And it wasn't, hold on one second. And it wasn't Jeff Bezos' trans Mexican wife and her tits hanging out at the inauguration. Like, she knows her brand. She knows what she's there for. She's like chum for billionaire sharks. That's what she is.
Yeah, totally.
She's tit chum. And it's like crazy to me how like they just keep slicing and dicing. You eventually end at trans. You're like, that could be a trans. When you have these people like going, everyone's a trans, okay? I go, Matt, she's got trans face. Okay, for sure. And, you know, and maybe that's what Jeff Bezos is into, dude. You know?
He
started
taking fitness seriously. It seems like he's gone that way, right?
Yeah. He wants a chick that can lift more than him. Do you see my joke about how Jennifer Aniston is dating Barack Obama and now she can find out it's like to date someone who used to bang black guys? Do you ever?
No, that's funny.
I say that on stage, people don't know how to react to it because they know what I'm saying and they know it's funny, but then they don't want to get in trouble. And you just hear people go, I did that in Batavia. They're like, what? Anyways, so
Anything
she said,
Obama short circuits people still. People,
especially in
over that guy.
Chicago. I didn't even think about that.
They love that guy. Yeah.
Oh, they love that guy. They love him so much. It's so crazy to me, dude. I used to go when I played this comedy club, the Comedy Bar. I played it one time in Chicago. And every time I got off stage, I would have to talk down off a ledge a white progressive woman who was crying every show. And this woman was like, you need to learn how to punch up. I'm like, bitch, you don't know where I'm punching from. So you don't know where I'm punching. I'm not punching up, punching.
That's such a good response to that.
Yeah. Right?
It really is.
Punching from. So
That's
don't tell me about
thing.
what?
You see that often, especially on the left, where no, it happens on the right too, where they come up with a phrase like that sounds like it means something, but when you really think about it, it doesn't mean anything. It's meaningless. It just sounds like a good point, and they start saying it over, and it gets this kind of energy. It's just, I don't know. It's anybody who would say that, punching down, punching up, I don't want to even know. I don't want to have anything to do with you. You're stupid.
So this chick makes a video, right? She makes a video in which she's talking about it's a bad day for women. She goes, it wasn't Melania's outfit. It wasn't Sanchez's tits out, right? It was at the national championship game where the chick driving the car drives it into the wall and crashes it.
Yeah.
And nobody can get she hits it so hard, nobody can get it out. And she's like, I didn't watch the whole video. I watched to that point. I'm like, that's pretty funny. I'm going to post it. And it says her handle in the video. If you download on Instagram, I don't know if it presents the name of whose video it is. So I post it. People are laughing. People are having a good time. Suddenly I get a comment going from someone with very gay energy. Okay.
Yeah.
Why are you stealing stuff? Why you gotta steal? Why are you stealing, hack? I go, what? I go, what are you talking about? So then I go to my message.
I can pull them up if you want. Do you want to?
What's that?
I can pull
not
those
yet.
up. Okay.
Not yet. Okay. So then I'm like, what is going on? So then in the comment section is the chick who made the video. And she's just yelling at me and anybody else that will listen.
Oh, in the comments too.
She starts in the comment. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? You fucking hack. Why you gotta steal? I go, what are you doing? It's Instagram. It's called reposting. So I go to her page and she had some weird shit. It's a weird page. She's, I'd say mid-20s, early 30s maybe.
Something like that.
And yeah, she's probably like early 30s, right? And she is she has 154 posts. I go, how crazy is that? A fucking chick from New York, white woman on Instagram only having 154 posts. I like that number is really weird to me. I go, I wonder if she's coming from TikTok or something like that. I don't know, but maybe she doesn't understand how Instagram works, which is people repost shit. That's how it's going. Now I go, oh, is she mad because I didn't put repost her thing? It's in the video. It's literally in the video at the top. As you watch it, it says her Instagram handle. Okay. But I get it. So I go, okay, I'm going to put it in repost, bang, her thing. I go to my DMs. She's DM'd me. She DMs me. And she's like, LOL, take down my reel, you hack. Now, once I hear, I'm 52. So anyone young, anyone in their 30s is, young to me. But anytime I hear a white progressive say hack, anytime I hear a young comic say hack, I go, okay, you're a progressive. Because that's the new term. When I was coming up in comedy, okay, way back in the day before they had electricity, And the black comedians had to use a separate entrance to come to the open mic. Okay, way back in the day.
Yeah.
The word hack meant everyone was doing a joke like that, right? So it'd be like getting high at Taco Bell, right? That would be considered a hack joke.
Yeah.
Hey man, you ever been high at Taco Bell? That's a hack joke. You can get into
talking about jerking off, like stuff like that.
Wife and kids jokes. We can even get into flying. There's a lot, you brought up earlier, flying. Now, you can take those jokes, those premises, and make them yours and be funny. It's totally fine. I don't care. It's good. But that's what hack means. But what this younger generation wants to do is they use the term hack to say, I don't like you or I don't like the joke. It's not that you've heard a million people do it, because what she's technically saying is if a hack... I'm presenting your video in a way that Instagram has encouraged, which is reposting. Okay, that's why they have a button to repost.
Do they have a repost button? It's funny. I've never tried it.
Well, they have a download button. You can download the video. Okay, and then you can hit the thing where you can put it in your reels, right? You can put it in your reels. They do. Hey man, share this, right? Yeah, that's what they do.
I've never done that.
What they do. Okay. So the first thing she says to me is LOL, which is a really weird way to start a conversation that you're about to scream at somebody. LOL, take down my reel, you hack. I go, what? Bro, that reel, my material, you bitch. That reel, my material, you bitch. I'm like, oh, okay. What I say? Yeah, but then okay. I go,
I can bring that exchange up, right? I just have the first.
Yeah, I and then she goes, bro, that reel's my bit, bro. And this gets in, okay, to when white women get angry, they start getting sassy, right? They get sassy black. Bro, that reel, my material, you bitch. Okay, why am I a hack? I think you're hilarious. Don't use it on your page to gain 3,000 likes. What? What are you talking about?
If you'd like to hear the rest of this episode, subscribe to Broken Simulation in your podcasting app or check us out at youtube.com/SamTripoli.
We go deep, homeboy. Aaron, open your mind. Drink from the fountain of knowledge. There's lizard people everywhere. That's some interdimensional shit. Wake up, Aaron.
This is only the beginning.
Dude, you just blew my mind.
Tinfoil hack.